This is the Nebraska Greats, a weekly podcast as a service to the Nebraska Greats Foundation, which serves former collegiate athletes facing medical needs and financial challenges. Your tax-deductible contribution will change the life of a former college sports hero. Please give online at negreats.org. And now, here's your host, Brett Wetton.
Welcome to the Nebraska Greats podcast. I'm your host, Brett Wetton, and I'm joined also by Monte Kratzenstein, who is going to be the co-host, and Steve Taylor. So we're going to do a little housekeeping here real quickly. What is the Nebraska Greats Foundation? Well, you know what? We raise awareness and donations to take care of any former student athlete from any of the colleges or universities in Nebraska. And what we do is if they have a medical or financial need, we help them with that money that we raise. And it's really important. So our motto around here is we are family. And so in that light of we are family, we have Steve Taylor here today. And we are at the Tom Dinsdale Celebrity Golf Outing at Riverside Country Club in Grand, Nebraska. So Steve, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
So we were just talking before this about handicaps and golfing, and so we're just going to start right off with that. So, Monte, you guys just had a golf tournament here not too long ago, and let's just walk through that. Let's just get everything primed up before we start.
Well, we're not going to walk through any of that. All I know
he's undefeated. He's undefeated.
Steve is a much better golfer than me. I might be a better general manager for selecting teammates than Steve. We tried to get Steve on my team. His agent was asking for too much money. He's just a little too good. So that's how that worked. But nonetheless, and I am, in all seriousness, it's pretty awesome because Steve and I have known each other since 1985.
Long time.
We came in as freshmen together. Those were the days when there was a freshman team.
There was a freshman team, yeah. Every time I see you, I think I'm playing freshman football at the University of Nebraska. No, it's just a great feeling. But no, I love the golf. Great event last week with the teammates. Great call. You see all the players, and I'm close. I think we were tied for fourth last year, but my ringer got hurt. He couldn't make it. My ringer got hurt. He couldn't make it, so we couldn't drive too many greens like those guys. No, but it's just a great sport, great event, and just love it.
Excellent. Well, Steve, so here's the format. This is a conversation between the three of us. We've played a lot of football. We have a lot of former teammates, and so we want to just kind of do a cursory overview, just kind of maybe where you grew up, and then some things you loved about playing at Nebraska. And I'm an offensive lineman, so I love my quarterback. Monte's a tight end, and was a tight end, and so I love the tight ends. And so
we are family.
Yeah, we are family, man. So I guess the first question would be so your time at Nebraska, man, are there any moments that really stuck out to you, like, man, that was a big moment for me as a person, as a player?
I wish I had one particular moment, but I've had several. But the whole experience was just unbelievable. First of all, I mean, if you can believe this or not, when I was a junior in high school, I was going to a quarterback camp or a camp up at Cal Berkeley because they were recruiting me, and my coach sets this thing up. So we go up there, and my coach goes, "Hey, Steve, where do you want to go to school?" And I was like, "You know what? University of Nebraska-Lincoln is my first choice."
Wait. Let's go back there. Why? I mean, because you're saying how in the world?
I'm getting to that, right? So he goes, "Where do you want to go to school?" And I was like, "I want to go to University of Nebraska-Lincoln." I had just seen Nebraska play in the 83-84 Orange Bowl, and Turner Gill, Mike Rozier, Irving Fryer, and the way they were running that option and doing that, and Coach Osborne, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. So he said, "Okay, after camp, we're going to get back. I'm going to select 5 or 6 games. We're going to send tape off to the University of Nebraska." So we go to camp and we come back. He sends the tape off. I get a letter back from Steve Peterson saying, "Hey, you're our number one choice. We're only taking one quarterback. You're the guy." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me." So I was like, I'm in. I'm verbally committed. Told Coach Osborne, though, I said, "Hey, here's the deal, Coach." I lived with my coach in high school. I said, "Here's the deal. I'm taking all 5 visits, but I'm verbally committed to the University of Nebraska." He goes, "Well, Steve, when you go on visits, you kind of get caught up in the moment, and, we're a little bit afraid of that." I said, "No, Coach, I'm giving you my word. I'm coming to Nebraska, but I'm going to these other schools." So I hit the lottery. I hit the lottery from day one. Who gets their number one pick, And Nebraska at that time was consistently number one in the country. Great organization. The fan base is just extraordinary. Coach Osborne is Coach Osborne. So, and being from California, y'all, which I don't regret, but I should think twice about it now. You always think about playing in the frozen tundra, the snow, the rain. Yeah, that sounds great, but after you do it for a while, it's not so great, right? But Nebraska was winning, so everything was worth it. And so ever since then, I had to pinch myself. And then to play on the freshman team, the first 2 or 3 games, and they moved us up to varsity at that time, which was unheard of. No, not to redshirt, split at the quarterback position. And Broderick Thomas.
There was two guys. Yeah, you and Broderick.
Three actually, Broderick and Leroy. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Leroy Etienne.
We had back then we were the number 2 recruiting class rated in the nation. That came.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were. It was phenomenal. I mean, we had Broderick Thomas, myself, Leroy Etienne, Cleo Rice. I mean, it was a great recruit, Richard Bell. So we were pumped. And at that time, freshmen hardly ever even came to Nebraska early. So we came up in the summer, which was a little early, to just kind of, acclimate stuff, get an introduction to what you're doing and stuff. And so every day was just a ball. But walking from the dorm room my freshman year with Broderick and Leroy and going to practice and drinking Substacal and Broderick rapping and singing all these songs. It was the best time of my life. And then to do what we did and we were competitive. We had a chance to win a national championship a couple times. It was just a wonderful experience. And of course I had individual games, that kind of stuff, bowl games, all that stuff is good. But just the people, the state itself is just, for me, it was just a blast. And it's just like when I see my boys like this, it's just like I was just in the huddle or just in the dorms the other day. So it was just a fabulous, fabulous experience.
Let me give you just a tiny perspective of a walk-on guy who truly, and we joke about it, but truly was just fortunate to be part of that early on, because there were 75 guys on the freshman football team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had 25 scholarship guys, and those were the guys that were the elite in the country. And then they allowed, and I truly say that, allowed 50 walk-ons. We had the North Stadium, we had the locker rooms, the toilets that didn't even have walls between it. There was a line of stools there. I mean, it was barren. It was unbelievable. And so here you have a guy from Gothenburg, Nebraska that weighed maybe 190 pounds trying to figure out a way to play some sort of tight end, and a guy from one of the best recruits in the country, all lockering together. And that brotherhood that was built through that period of time. And again, Steve and Broderick and Leroy were special, but they still had to play freshman team. And it wasn't until after our season, I think, was almost 2/3 done, a freshman team, before they moved you up, and then you ended up playing in the Fiesta Bowl against Michigan as a true freshman.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, that you talk about that locker room, because it's like two different worlds. You got varsity and you have freshmen. They had all the nice shoes, they had all the nicer ends, the nicer pants. Everything was nice to the locker room and stuff. So you kind of wanted to make that run and get up there. No, it was. Those are some great days.
You start off in the underworld, and then you move up to the big leagues.
And some of our best friends today, still this day, were guys that I walked on with. They might not finish their career, but that went through that.
Dance Barons, all those guys. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, all those guys, and that's. And again, talk about brotherhood in your family. That's what it's all about.
So I have to ask the obvious question. All of us have played in front of a lot of folks, right? So, did you start in the Fiesta Bowl then?
No. What happened is that when I moved up to varsity, they had Travis Turner, McCaffrey, Clayton, Cleek Blake, and those guys all in front of me. So when I moved up, I started mopping up like against Iowa State, and I would come in and play like the last, like the last 2 minutes and stuff. And I would actually do well. I would run and do some great things. But I was so young, and believe it or not, we're playing Oklahoma that year. Bill Lewis was a center, and I went in against Oklahoma and had a drive and took us down there and everything. Yeah. So the signs were kind of there, but I was so green and so young. Things were so fast. And then we go to play Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I only probably had maybe a total of not even a quarter worth of playing time. Yeah. And then I come off mid to late in the third quarter against Michigan. And I rallied the team and bring us back. And then that was kind of my coming out, if you want to say that. And then, of course, I won the job. Not of course, but I won the job in spring that year. So it was just amazing, and it was a fabulous experience.
So when did it catch up to you? Because all of us have played, right? And then you were like, hold on a second, when did that all catch up to you? Like, oh my goodness,
slow down. When it slowed down to me,
you really, yourself, like, it was really. My story is so unreal. I would probably say my junior year, because I started my sophomore year, and I was still like a green freshman, and the first game I started was against Florida State at home. It was the first night game against Florida State.
First night game ever.
And I was like, hardly had any playing time, but people expected these great things. And Lord behold, I was National Player of the Week that week. I threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 2. But it was still fast, though. It was still fast, but I was just playing off my natural ability and learning the system, right? And had great games, and I stumbled here and there as that year went on, but it really did not slow down for me until my second year, because that way I had seen everything. I could make all the adjustments.
I can
read everything, and so I was in pretty much, and that's when I was up for the Heisman my junior year. I was just in total control, and I was excited. So really, it was my second year because I had a whole full year of playing. Which you're green, you're learning. So that's when it slowed down, and that's why I wish I would have redshirted. But for what the times indicate, I just didn't have the opportunity.
Nobody at that time. Nobody redshirted your freshman year. Okay, so
and you didn't, and not only that, but I didn't play a lot my freshman year. Yeah. I didn't play a lot.
He was a freshman quarterback on a freshman football team playing against Ellsworth Junior College and William Jewell College. I mean, imagine that. Crazy. Imagine that deal. But
and next thing, I'm playing against Oklahoma on national TV for the national championship. Just go there, and Bill Lewis and all these guys and Doug DeBose. I mean, it's crazy. And my nickname was the Kid. My nickname was the Kid. All the older guys called me the Kid because I came out in Cleet Blakeman, Banderas. All those guys will still, hey, what's up, Kid? And it's amazing because I was a young kid on
still call you that.
Oh no, they still do. It's amazing,
cool.
So
well, you had that relationship with your center too, right, Bill Lewis?
Oh yeah.
I
only had Bill that 1 year because I was a freshman. I played with Tom Rathbone.
That's right.
I was handing the ball off to Tom Rathbone. I mean, my freshman year. I mean, so it's weird. So. In some aspects it's great, but I kind of lost the guys that I came in with, like Richard Bell, because Richard Bell redshirted in my class, so I was pretty much practicing all the time with the ones, so then they redshirted. So I'm almost like 2 classes above them. So I kind of got the best of both worlds because I have the class I came with. I'm still friends with, but then I got to be friends with like Neil Smith, Lawrence Pete, Doug DeBose, guys that were in older classes because I was playing. So it was an interesting experience for me, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. I mean, it was awesome.
I always like to balance things out a little bit. Brett asked about some of the greatest things, and you've had so many great experiences, and the game's been good to you, and you've been great to the game, and you've given back to the community, and by the way, which is equally important. But talk about some of the toughest times, the stuff that really when you look back on, it helped you grow and helped you get better. But what were some of those experiences that were really tough?
That's what's interesting because I had that great success that my first start at Nebraska against Florida State, and then one of the worst games I probably had was against Colorado my sophomore year. We got upset out at Boulder, and coach put me out, put Cleet in, and put me back in, and we lost. I had maybe 1 or 2 fumbles, and we lost, and we're upset. And I never forget the next day, all the papers. I mean, I never felt so low. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never felt so low. I mean, I could have gone. I wouldn't have committed suicide. But I was down. But I knew I had to come back. So you want to come back and practice and do
yourself,
well. Yeah. And so I learned so much from that. There's 3 games or 2 games that really irked me, and one is the Oklahoma game of the century too, because we were clearly the better team. We had a bye, we played well, we did all the things, and we did some interviews a week or 2 before that it was taken out of context when they were asking us about Oklahoma after we had played Missouri, and we were just we're confident after the game, and I had a great game of my life anyway, so we had a bye that week, so we ended up losing to Oklahoma, which is a game of the century too. So that game I just felt horrible because I thought we were the better team. And we lost, and we had a chance to get for the national championship. So that moment there, I learned a lot, and so that game hurt. And then the Florida State game, the Fiesta Bowl, we had that game won. We're on a 2-yard line with like 3 minutes to go, and we're going to score, and then the fumble, and then they go 100 whatever yards, and end up throwing 4th and 22 and whatnot. And then we have a chance to win the game. I throw a pass, Deion Sanders tried to intercept it, Morgan catches it, runs down to the 1-yard line, and they call it back. So those 2 games, I learned so much. And Coach always talked about just being consistent, having poise. And so I really knew Coach Osborne was going to get his national championships. It was just a matter of time. Yeah. But you talk those losses are the ones that I remember the most. Now the UCLA, the Florida States, the Oklahoma States, all the games I had, extraordinary games. They're great and all, but I think about the ones that we lost. I appreciate those.
Isn't that the way the sport is, though?
And the great competitors are, right?
Yeah,
you remember the losses. You remember the thing you didn't quite get.
Yeah, but when you lose the guys like, we didn't lose to Barry Sanders, but we lost the teams that we lost to. I'm talking with number 2 teams.
Barry Sanders. Troy Aikman at UCLA.
Yeah.
That's right.
Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Those are the teams. Those are teams that beat us during that time. And you talk about the Oklahoma that game of the century 2 sort of thing. That was fascinating. As you get older, you kind of reflect on some of those things, and that was a culture win for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, even though they weren't the better team, the way they came into that stadium, we hadn't overcome that yet. But my junior year, Steve's senior year, down in Norman,
we beat
on Barry Switzer's last game in some of the worst weather.
It rained the whole time. It
was sleet and cold. 7-3 ball game.
Kenny Clark had a great game. Offensive line did a fabulous job. But it was just a tremendous experience. So I pinched myself, because my dream came true. You always want to win more games, win more national championships or whatever. But in the end, we're all done. You do what you do. You do your best. And when Nebraska won those national championships in 94 and 95 and 97, I felt part of it because we helped continue that and keep that going and all that. So it was just tremendous.
Can I segment this just because of this? You mentioned Kenny Clark.
Oh, yeah.
And this Nebraska Greats Foundation, Brett and I are part of the board of directors. He's one of the reasons why I got involved in it because the Nebraska Greats Foundation was just starting when Kenny passed away. And we went to his funeral in North Omaha there at the Baptist Church, and I didn't know it at the time. The Nebraska Greats helped that family pay for that funeral, and when it becomes personal like that, then it really means something, and that's what got me involved. I heard about it, and so. First of all, I just want to tell it because you mentioned Kenny, because Kenny's so special, to all of us.
I got a story about him. I don't know if you know the story. Well, my sophomore year, so we're at the training table. I don't mean to cut you off. We're at the training table having just a regular day of football and practice and everything. And Broderick was in the car with me. So we go to training table. Then afterwards, we're going home, right? And I had this nice little sports car, this little Honda CRX.
Oh yeah.
So and this was right where Abel Dorm was. They got those railroad tracks. So I see Steve DeShazier, which is a great linebacker, came here, and Kenny Clark, and he was race training that year, walking across, right? I'm 19, 20-something, right? So I act like I'm going to run them over.
You're young blood.
I'm going to scare them, right? Because we're just BSing, right? So I speed up, and Steve DeShazier runs across the street. Kenny runs back, and so I went left, and I hit him. He hit my hood, hit my windshield. This is a true story, and rolled over the back. And Broderick was like, dude, I'm like, what? I'm like, why did he go backwards?
Just killed our eye back.
I'm like, I just hit the guy. He came in with, I just hit him. And so, and I see him like rolling out of the back. I see him like fall and roll, and I'm like, holy crap, right? So I pull over, and there was like a gas station right there. So I pull over, and Steve comes running over, and I jump out of the car. Broderick jumps out. We run back there, and Kenny pops up. He pops up. And I was like, thank Lord. But I'm like, okay, I just hope he's okay. So he got up, and he started walking, and I was like, oh, man. I said, dude, I am so sorry. I'm surprised he just didn't punch me in the face, right? I'm so sorry, man. I don't know what I was thinking, and it was just a bad joke, a bad decision when you're 19 or 20 years old, right? He said, oh, man, it's cool. It's all right, man. I'm all right, right? So he shakes it off, and he started walking. I see him walking with a limp, and Brock and I just looking at me like, dude, what are you serious, right? So I pulled over. Next thing I know, some police cars come over.
Yeah.
Right, someone called in like someone hit someone. And so they get out.
Man.
And they
the
find
whole
out
scene.
that we're right there in the corner, and they're talking to me like, "Oh yeah, we got a call that someone's hit." I was like, "Officer, no one got hit." I'm like, if I would have hit someone,
rolled.
Yeah, I'd hit someone, my windshield would be cracked. They said, "Oh yeah," he said, "No, yeah, we got a call." I said, "No, I think a truck went by and something fell off the truck and rolled by my car, and people thought I got hit." And they let us go. They let us go. But later that night, Kenny, I guess, was in pain, so he went to the hospital. So he had to report what happened.
Yeah,
he had hurt his, and in long story short, he had a great career here. He ended up recovering from that.
Best.
I got cited later with citation for driving or something.
If that would happen now, it'd be on ESPN.
It actually made ESPN a little bit after the fact, but it wasn't huge. It was like under the radar, right? Because it was so far after. It was like doing spring ball or something. But
that's awesome.
So I was so thankful that he was able to recover from that and then have the career that he had. That I didn't ruin it, but that could have changed the direction of my life. That just goes to show you when you're 8, and I still see kids today act like they're going to hit me or hit someone. You guys may have seen that joking around, and you never joke like that.
Never joke like it, yeah.
So many things. I was so blessed and fortunate I didn't kill him, and that he was still able to have his football career.
And Steve, all of us have had those moments. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think we've achieved our goal today, guys. We've had a conversation, not an interview, and this time has flown by. Steve, I want to thank you very much. You have no clue what it's like for you to come here and help support the Nebraska Greats Foundation. And so just to wrap this up, thanks for coming on today. Again,
And I got something from this. I won an auction item last night. I got a big 3-part picture that's painted, and it's going right in the center of my 2-stall. I got a 3-stall garage. Yeah, that's right. I told Steph that wall I was going to have NU painted on it, and now I'm going to have this huge thing right there when I drive in every day. So it's going to remind me of this moment.
And it's appropriate. So, you know, again, we're here because of the Nebraska Greats Foundation. Again, there are 3 ways you can help us, okay? So first is a donation to our charity. It's tax deductible. Secondly, anytime you can share any of our content on any of your social platforms, man, we love that. Help us brand, help us bring awareness to this. And then lastly, and most importantly, you're going to have former teammates you play with. All of us do. They're too prideful to ask for help. They have a medical problem. They feel in hard times. You know, go to anygreats.org. Send them to any of us on our social media platforms. And we just want to say a big thank you to you.
Thank you.
Again, Steve, this is Tom Dinsdale Celebrity Golf Outing, sponsored by the Nebraska Greats Foundation. Thank you and have a great day.
This has been Nebraska Greats, a weekly podcast serving the Nebraska Greats Foundation. You can find each episode on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Please give generously to serve Nebraska's former sports heroes in need at anygreats.org. And be sure to follow the Any Greats on Facebook and Twitter.